Consolidated Channel 18 welcomes you to the campus of Dickinson State University and the Sanford Sports Complex, as today the Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies are visiting the Heart River Cougars on the Dakota Community Bank and Trust ball field. Glad to have you with us as the game was moved from Belfield to Dickinson. The recent rains have made the field over in Belfield a little soggy. Here at the Sanford Sports Complex on the outside 3 diamonds, the infield is actually AstroTurf. Then the outfield is natural grass. So the largest part of the playing surface here is artificial turf, and that allowed the teams to go ahead and move on over here so they could go ahead and not have to reschedule this game. So the 2 teams are undefeated in Region 4. Right now, Velva-Drake-Anamoose is 2-0, as is Heart River. Velva-Drake-Anamoose is 4-0 overall, whereas Heart River has only played the 2 Region 4 games. Starting lineup, first of all, for the visitors on the scoreboard, Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies. Number 10 in pitching is Grace Ballas. Number 11 in right field is Emma Ballas. Number 19 at second base is Jenna Lonis. Number 5 in at shortstop is Quincy Bruner. Number 4 is Fallon Hudkins. She'll be out in left field. Number 22 is Marley Kittleson. She's in center field. Number 2 is Tessa Clemens. She'll be behind the plate. Number 14 is Evelyn Selsler. She'll be at first base. And at third base is number 7, Leah Volochenko. For the Heart River Cougars, who will take the field first, Gretchen Silbernagel is on the mound. In right field is Rayleigh Morris. At shortstop is Annie Silbernagel. Aubrey Roberts is at second base. Taylin Yonner is behind the plate. Kylie Wyman's at third base, Kaylee Tesher at center field, and we're ready to get underway with Grace Ballas starting things off for Velva-Drake-Anamoose. First one's fouled off for strike 1. Again, Gretchen Silbernagel on the mound for Heart River. She looks inside and delivers. That's going to be high for ball 1. So 1-1 the count on Grace Ballas. As Silbernagel looks in, delivers. That's just barely foul down the third baseline. So the count moves to 1-2. Just underway, top of the first inning. I'm Alan Reed, along with our production crew of Trace Wells and Ken and Micah on the camera. Glad to have you with us as the wind is picked up coming out of the west. That pitch is inside for ball 2, so 2-2 the count to Grace Ballas. The wind picked up about 15 minutes before the start of the game. High pop fly goes to center field, coming in but not making the catch is Tesher. So that will end up being an error, as Ballas goes all the way to second base. So Velva-Drake-Anamoose with a runner in scoring position at second, and Emma Ballas will come to the plate. Strike by Silbernagel. 0-1 the count. As Silbernagel delivers, that's going to be high and outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Aggies with Grace Ballas on second base on the fielding error by Tesher. That's popped up left side, not a play for strike 2 on Emma Ballas. Again, Gretchen Silbernagel on the mound for the Cougars. 1-2 the count. That's just outside for ball 2. Fortunately, we do have a scoreboard here at the Dakota Community Bank and Trust Field. That pitch is also outside, so we got a full count at 3-2. First base is open as Grace Ballas is on second. Good pitch there by Silbernagel. Another, great catch by Roberts. They would call that the good old snow cone, as it just got caught in the web of her glove, as the wind held that up and gave Roberts enough time to run under it. So outstanding play there by Roberts at second base. Produces the first out of the inning. Swing and a miss by Genalonis, second baseman. So 1 down, top of the first. As Silbernagel delivers. That's going to be in there for a strike, 2. 0-2 the count on Genalonis. Again, Grace Ballas still at second base, and that's wide and outside on the right side. That'll be ball 1. Count moves to 1-2 with 1 down. Silbernagel delivers, and that's going to be strike 3. So the first strikeout for Silbernagel, and that's going to bring up Quincy Bruner, the shortstop for the Aggies. Now with 2 down, and Ballas still at second base, Grace Ballas. Silbernagel feels a little nubber, throws over to first. Unfortunately, Hansen can't handle the toss, and it wasn't that difficult. So that'll be an E1, or E3, excuse me. And that brings in Ballas all the way from second. So Fallon Hudkins, the left fielder, now up for the Aggies, with her team leading 1-0. Throw down to second is not in time. So Bruner, stolen base. And the Aggies again have a runner in scoring position. Grounder up the middle, and that's mishandled by Tesher again. That's going to score Bruner from second, as Hudkins ends up going, gets the single, and then advances on the air. So 2-0 Aggies, as Marley Kittleson, the center fielder, comes to the plate. Silbernagel, that pitch is high for ball 1. So Fallon Hudkins at second base with 2 down. Again, little number back to the mound. This time Hansen is able to go ahead and control it. So a 1-3 putout, but not before the Aggies get 2 runs and lead 2-0. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back for the bottom of the first inning.
Are you ready for summer fun and adventure? Spend an exciting time at Badlands Ministries just south of Medora, where you'll grow in faith and have the time of your life. For over 90 years, Badlands Ministries has provided a safe place for people of all ages and denominations to experience Christ's love. Take a leap of faith and enjoy the many activities, from ropes courses, fun Bible studies, crazy games, hiking, swimming, campfires, songs, skits, and more. Call or go to badlandsministries.org. See you at camp.
You have big dreams for your community. At Rivera, so do we. Giving back more than $1 million locally each year. It's something bigger than time and money. We give heart. Wearing bright yellow and lending a hand. It's not just giving back.
Watch your step.
It's building forward.
Nice and easy.
With local sponsorships and decision making, the impact is felt everywhere. It's who we are. Brevera, let's forge ahead together.
Back at the Sanford Sports Complex, we're ready to enter the bottom half of the first inning as the Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies score 2, both unearned runs, in the top of the first and lead 2-0, as the Heart River Cougars will come to the plate in the bottom half. Kind of an interesting situation. Both pitchers are the leadoff batters for both teams. So that means Gretchen Silbernagel will start things off for the Cougars. She'll be followed by Rayleigh Morris, the right fielder, and Annie Silbernagel at shortstop. If they get a runner on, Aubrey Roberts, the second baseman, would be the next in line at the plate. Clouds starting to move in. Could end up getting a little chilly by the time we're done with this one, if things pack up like they look they're going to be. On the mound for the Aggies is Grace Ballas. Swing and a miss, strike one by Silbernagel. So you have Grace Ballas on the mound, Clemens at behind the plate, Selsler at first, Lonis at second, Bruner at shortstop, and Bolenchenko at third for the Aggies. That's a long foul ball out of play over the third baseline fence for strike two. In the outfield for the Aggies is Hudkins in left field, Kittleson in center field, and Emma Ballas in right field. Grace Ballas delivers. That's low for ball one. Again, Aggies leading 2-0. As Grace Ballas looks for the sign, steps onto the mound and delivers. That hits Silbernagel, so she'll reach first on a hit by pitch. And that'll bring up right fielder Rayleigh Morris. And we have a pinch runner on first. Let's see if we can figure out who that is. There aren't any programs available, unfortunately. I think that was number 27, so that would be Megan Morris. Running for Silbernagel on first. Again, Rayleigh Morris getting ready to step into the batter's box. Heart River has a very, very deep roster. Was amazed at how many players they have out for softball, but they've been very, very successful in the last several years, as have both teams. Velva-Drake-Anamoose has been a powerhouse in the central part of the state. So I think we got things straightened out as far as the pinch runner is concerned. And Grace Ballas can go ahead and get ready to deliver to Rayleigh Morris. First pitch is a swing and a miss for strike one. Nobody out. Bottom of the first. Swing and a miss for strike two. Grace Ballas with some good heat to start her trip on the mound. 0-2 the count to Morris. And that'll be a swing and a miss for strike three. So the first strikeout for Grace Ballas. That'll bring up Annie Silbernagel, the shortstop for the Heart River Cougars, as Grace Ballas looks in and delivers for strike one. Right at the knees with some good heat. She checks her sign, steps back on the mound, and Ballas is ready with a delivery. That's high for ball one. 1-1 to count, one down. Runner on first as Ballas catches the right side of the plate for strike two. Another one right at the knees on Annie Silbernagel. So 1-2 the count, one out. Aggies up 2-0, bottom of the first. That's going to be high for ball two. Two and two the count as Grace Ballas looks inside and delivers. Grounder picked up by the third baseman Volochenko. She throws it over to first base for the easy out there. So that's the 5-3 putout for the second out of the inning, as Gretchen Silbernagel does advance to second base. So that was a sack out. But that makes it two down for the Cougars, and that brings up Aubrey Roberts, the second baseman. Ballas delivers. That's high and outside for ball one. Again, the Aggies leading 2-0 on 2 unearned runs in the top of the first, as Grace Ballas delivers. Line shot over the third base, head of the third baseman. So that'll be a nice single by Aubrey Roberts. So you got runners on the corner with 2 outs. And Taylon Yonner, the catcher, will come to the plate.
Just find it, Taylon.
Yonner steps into the batter's box. Grace Ballas gets her sign, steps back onto the rubber, and delivers. High and outside, or high and inside for ball one, and that's going to be a stolen base for Aubrey Roberts. So runners now at second and third, 2 down. Cougars with a nice scoring threat here. Swing and a miss for strike one. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. Bottom of the first. Grace Ballas gets ready to deliver. That's followed back by Yonner for strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Taylon Yonner, the Cougar catcher, as Grace Ballas gets her sign from the dugout. Looks in and delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Grace Ballas. The Cougars leave 2 runners on base. Score remains 2-0. We'll go to the top half of the second inning after this 30-second break.
At Consolidated, we believe that neighbors serving neighbors is what it's all about. Now, when you partner with us, we'll give you up to $150 bill credit for every neighbor or friend you refer to Consolidated. Receive a $50 credit for 1 service, a $100 credit for 2, even $150 for all 3 services. Choose from internet, telephone, or cable TV, plus there's no limit on referrals. Get to know your neighbor and earn $150 in bill credit. Find out more at consolidatednd.com.
Back at the Dakota Community Bank and Trust Field on the Sanford Sports Complex on the campus of DSU. Velva-Drake-Anamoose comes to the top of the second, leading 2-0. As Tessa Clemens, the catcher, will lead things off. She'll be followed by Evelyn Selsler, the first baseman, and Leah Volochenko, the third baseman, is batting 9th for the Aggies, who again are 4-0 overall, 2-0 in the region, as is Hart River. Aggies started out the year beating Des Lacs Burlington 6-1. They then defeated Bishop Ryan Our Redeemers 10-1. Garrison was the next one, as the Aggies won 20-0. And most recently they beat Harvey Wells County 14-0. Strike one from Gretchen Silbernagel to get things underway in the top of the second. That's just outside for ball one. So 1-1 the count. Tessa Clemmers at the plate. Line shot down the third baseline is foul for strike two. So Clemens, swing and a miss for strike three. So that's the second strikeout for Gretchen Silbernagel. And that'll bring up Evelyn Selsler, the first baseman. That'll be high for ball one. 1-0 the count from Gretchen Silbernagel. She looks in for the sign and delivers. That's going to be a fly ball that's going to drop into right field as the wind held that up. So Selsler with the single gets to first with one down, and Leah Volochenko, the third baseman, comes to the plate. Silbernagel delivers. That's going to be a strike as Selsler steals second. Again, the Aggies leading 2-0, scoring 200 runs in the top of the first. Swing and a miss for strike two by Volochenko. Again, Selsler at second base. Single to right, then stole second. 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss for strike three. So we go back to the top of the order with pitcher Grace Ballas. She scored a run in the top of the first. That pitch is high for ball one. Clouds starting to pack in a little bit as the wind continues to blow from right field. I'm guessing that's close to 15 miles an hour, making fielding a little challenging out there right now. That's ball two to Grace Ballas. So Silbernagel behind in the count. Line shot goes up the middle. That's going to score Selsler. So RBI single by Grace Ballas. Makes it 3-0. Velva-Drake-Anamoose. That brings up Emma Ballas, the right fielder. She popped up to second base as Roberts made a heck of a catch for the putout. Ballas sends that one over the third base fence for strike one. Two down. Grace Ballas on first base as Gretchen Silbernagel makes a delivery. Stolen base coming up by the Aggies as Grace Ballas slides in safely to second. Looks like we're now going to have a pinch runner. Emily Euland is coming in for Ballas. So Euland now at second as a pinch runner, as Grace Ballas is the pitcher. So the count is 1-1 on Emma Ballas, the right fielder. 2 down. Aggies up 3-0. Top of the second. As Gretchen Silbernagel with a delivery. Fly ball to left field. Getting under it is Gieske for the 3rd out. So the Aggies score 1, make it 3-0 as we move to the bottom half of the second inning. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
The dictionary defines community as a group of people living in the same place or sharing common goals. Community is the largest part of our name, and we make it the largest part of our business. We support our local schools, organizations, youth programs, and local events from Bowman to Bismarck, because we all share a common goal to better the quality of life in our communities. Come bank with us at Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your real community bank.
Welcome back as the Aggies score 1 in the top of the second. Now lead 3-0 as the Heart River Cougars will come to the plate in the bottom half with Kylie Wyman, the third baseman, leading things off. She'll be followed by Kaylee Tesher, the center fielder, and Ayla Gieske, the left fielder, who just made that nice catch for the 3rd out. Wind really causing some problems out there for the fielders. So have to be a little judicious and generous as far as official scoring, as that one's fouled back by Wyman for strike 1. Grace Ballas had a really nice first inning on the mound. A lot of pitches right at the knee with a little zip to it as she checks her wrist for the sign and delivers. Little pop up, it's going to drop in. Throw to first is in time by Lonis. So that's a 4-3 putout for out number 1. That'll bring up Kaylee Tesher, the center fielder. Grace Ballas looks to the plate and delivers. That's going to be low for ball 1. Again, Volochenko is at third. That's fouled back for strike 1. Volochenko at third. Bruner at second or shortstop. Lonis at second base and Selzler at first for the Aggies. Hudkins out in left field. Kittleson in center and Emma Ballas in right field. As Tesher awaits for the pitch, and that's going to be low for ball 2. 2-1 the count, 1 down. As Grace Ballas again looks at her wrist for the sign, and she's ready with the delivery. That's fouled off for strike 2. 2-2 the count, 1 down. As Kaylee Tesher trying to keep her bat alive. She's ready in the box. Grounder over to short. That's Bruner. Throw over to first. It's in time for out number 2. 6-3 putout. And that'll bring up Ayla Gieske, the left fielder. That's Grace Ballas with a delivery. That's going to be fouled out of play for strike 1. Good cut by Gieske. As Ballas again checks the sign on her wrist and delivers. Lots of speed there for strike 2. 0-2 the count to Ayla Gieske. 2 outs. Chance for a 1-2-3 inning here by Ballas as she delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So that's 3 strikeouts for Grace Ballas. Score remains 3-0 after 2 complete. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll be back.
Need a new car? Well, Dan is your man.
What do you mean I'm your man?
Well, you're the one that came up with the idea of free car washes for life.
That was a great idea. Look, here comes another one.
Da-da-da! Crime fighters to the rescue!
Buy any vehicle from Dan Porter Motors and enjoy free car washes for life.
Gonna need more bubbles.
Wait a second. Who's Bubbles?
Dan Porter Motors, baby approved, grown up guaranteed.
Back at Dakota Community Bank and Trust Field on the Sanford Sports Complex on Dickinson State University campus. Hart River back out in the field as we move to the top of the 3rd. Getting into the heart of the order for the Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies as Jenna Lonis, batting 3rd, will lead things off. She struck out in the 1st inning. 1 of 3 strikeouts so far by Gretchen Silbernagel for the Hart River Cougars. As Silbernagel is ready and delivers. That's going to be high for ball 1. Wyman at 3rd, Annie Silbernagel at shortstop, Roberts at 2nd, Henson at 1st for the Aggies. Line shot's going to go right past Roberts. Solid single there by Lonis. So the Aggies start off with a runner on base in the top of the 3rd as Quincy Bruner comes to the plate. She reached on an error and then stole second base and ultimately scored in the 1st inning. That pitch is high for ball 1. Again, Jenna Lonis, single right center. It's on first. This is going to go almost to the fence. And the Aggies are going to have runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody down as Bruner with a dandy double with no outs. And that's going to bring up Fallon Hudkins, the left fielder. She singled to left center in the 1st inning and got the 2nd on an error. And that's going to be a ball from Gretchen Silbernagel. Pitch is on the way. That's going to be a strike. Just caught the right side of the plate. So 1-1 the count. Nobody down. 2 runners in scoring position for the Aggies. Line shot down to first is mishandled by Henson. That's going to allow 2 runs to score. However, Hudkins tried to stretch it and was put out at second base for the first out. So unfortunately, the error by Henson allowed the 2 runs to score. So 1 out, and Marley Kittleson, center fielder at the plate, takes strike 1. Score now 5-0 for the Aggies. Pop up to down the first base. That's Roberts as she and Henson have switched positions. So that's out number 2. And that brings up Tessa Clemens, the catcher. Grounder over to third, long throw to first. Oh, they say Roberts' foot came off the bag, so that's going to be an infield single. So Clemens now at first, and Evelyn Selzler comes to the plate. As we have some position changes again. So we're ready to get back to action here as everybody's been reassigned. So yes, Aubrey Roberts is now playing first base and Henson is at second. As first pitch is fouled off by Selzler. 2 down. Oh, and 1 the count to Selzler. That's low and inside for ball 1 from Gretchen Silbernagel. Aggies have a pinch runner on first, but I haven't been able to pick up the number yet. That's going to be high inside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count. It appears, no, I'm not quite sure, still not sure on who their base runner is now at first base. As Silbernagel delivers, and that's fouled back for strike 2. So the count moves to 2-2 with 2 outs. Runner on first base. Aggies already scored 2. Silbernagel delivers. Nice changeup for strike 3. So 4 strikeouts now for Silbernagel. However, the Aggies scored 2. Now lead 5-0 as we move to the bottom of the third. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Toys.
Base runner at first for the Aggies was Miss Peterson, but she did not get to advance as the Aggies finally, with their third out, as we move to the bottom of the third inning. Cougars trailing 5-0 now. As Ballas delivers to Jovi Henson, the first baseman, although she's now playing second, as she and Roberts switched. That's going to be high for ball 1. 1-2 the count, nobody down. Bottom of the third inning. That's fouled back. So the count remains at 1-2. Hart River is also 2-0 in Region 4 play. It beat the New England team 25-2. Then most recently beat Nedrose 11-6. Just high. So the count moves to 2-2 to Hanson. And those are the only 2 games that Hart River has played so far. That's going to be a standing strike for strike 3 and the first out. Forced strikeout by Grace Ballas as we move back to the top of the batting order with pitcher Gretchen Silbernagel. That's going to be low for ball 1. So 1 down. Cougars trailing 5-zip. Bottom of the 3rd. Swing and a miss on that low pitch for strike 1. Ballas throwing a nice game so far. Has allowed just 1 hit. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Watching her during her warm-ups, she had a lot of zip on the ball, and she's showing that now on the mound. 1-2 the count. 1 out. As Grace Ballas delivers, that's fouled back by Silbernagel. So the count remains at 1-2. Again, stiff breeze coming out of right field, making fielding very challenging for the outfielders, even for the infielders on pop-ups. As Ballas delivers, grounder gets past Volochenko. Line drive on the ground. So Silbernagel gets on at first. And again, we're going to have a pinch runner. That's number 27. As I go to my phone, look up the roster, that's going to be Megan Morris again. As Rayleigh is at the plate for strike 1. Ballas with a delivery has fouled back for strike 2. Rayleigh Morris struck out in the first inning. In danger of doing the same here. She's at 0-2. Pops that up and out of play. So she keeps her bat alive with the count at 0-2. The wind out of right field, pushing the pitches a little bit to the left side of the plate, but a swing and a miss there for strike 3. 5th strikeout now for Grace Ballas. Produces a second out. We move on to Annie Silbernagel, the shortstop. Shot over to second base. That hits something. They still get it over there in time. So another 1-2-3 in, or take that back. There was a 4-batter inning for the Cougars. We move now on to the top of the 4th. The Aggies of Velva-Drake-Anamoose leading 5-0. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll be back.
For over 50 years, Furniture City in Dickinson has been a part of your home because they have always believed family comes first. Now the time has come. These are the final days before they close their doors. Everything in the store must go, including all odds and ends and the office furniture. So don't miss out on your last chance to save on the furniture you love. Stop in and see them one last time. Furniture City, West Villard in Dickinson. 50 years of helping your family feel at home.
Velva-Drake-Anamoose with a 5-0 lead as we move to the top of the 4th inning. Hart River has not been able to score any runs against the hard-throwing Grace Ballas. Ballas has had 3 very nice innings to get things started for the Aggies. As Leah Volochenko, the third baseman, batting 9th, will start things off for the Aggies. She struck out in the bottom of the 2nd as Silbernagel delivers for strike 1. Silbernagel is high for ball 1, so the count moves to 1-1. Again, Yonner behind the plate, Wyman at third base, Annie Silbernagel at shortstop, Henson at 2nd, and Roberts now at 1st. That one's lined down the first base line, foul. So the count moves to 1-2 on Volochenko. As Gretchen Silbernagel looks in and delivers. That's high and outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Silbernagel just high again. So the count moves to full at 3-2. Silbernagel delivers, and that's also going to be high. So Volochenko, after striking out in the 2nd, draws a walk in the 1st, and we move to the top of the order with pitcher Grace Ballas. She had a single in her last at bat to left center field. That pitch is high for ball 1. As Silbernagel takes a deep breath and delivers. That's low for ball 2. Again, Leah Volochenko on first base, drawing the walk. Fly ball. Shortstop Annie Silbernagel is there for the first out, as Volochenko stays at first. So that'll bring up Emma Ballas, the right fielder. She singled to right field in her last at bat. Struck out in the 1st. Runner throw down to 2nd. Nice throw by Yonner. Beautiful put out there for out number 2. As Yonner making that throw against the wind for the put out. As the pitch from Gretchen Silbernagel is a ball. Another fly ball to left field. Gieski's there. So 1-2-3 inning by the Hart River Cougars. We move to the bottom of the 4th. Cougars got some work to do at the plate as they trail 5-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
At Infinity Real Estate Group, we go to great lengths to find the answers to most any questions our clients may have. We strive to do our best to personalize your buying or selling experience with firsthand knowledge.
I really love Dickinson. How is the weather here in North Dakota?
You know what? It's amazing. We can have all 4 seasons in 1 week. When it's time to choose the team to represent you with all your real estate needs, choose Infinity Real Estate Group. Experience the Infinity Way.
Infinity Real Estate Group.
As your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we wear many hats. We take pride in serving our members and our community by going the extra mile in everything we do. Because we not only work here, we live here.
Back at Dakota Community Bank and Trust Field, Heart River Cougars at the plate in the bottom of the 4th with Aubrey Roberts, first baseman, starting things off. She takes strike 1 as Grace Ballas continues to throw heat, but Roberts gets a liner through the right side of the field and stands on first base. Roberts had singled to left field in her first at bat in the first inning, as Taylon Yonner, the catcher, swings for strike 1. Roberts stole second in her first at bat, so the Aggies will be keeping an eye on her. That's fouled back by Yonner for strike 2. So 0-2 the count to Taylon Yonner. Aubrey Roberts at first base. Cougars trying to generate some runs here in the bottom of the 4th. Line shot to the shortstop for out number 1. As Roberts was back in time at first base. So Kylie Wyman, the third baseman, comes to the plate to face Grace Ballas. Swing and a miss for strike 1. So 1 down. Cougars trailing by 5. Another fouled tip for strike 2. So 0-2 the count to Wyman. Aubrey Roberts at first base. As Grace Ballas gets the sign from the dugout and delivers. Foul ball down the left side. It's out of play. So a long strike again. Count remains at 0-2. Wyman with a very nice swing on that one. If any ball is going to have a chance of getting over the fence, it's going to be in left field with the wind blowing out of right field like it is. So Ballas looks inside and delivers. Little nubber back to the mound. Throw over to first for out number 2. But that does advance Roberts to second base with 2 down. And Kaylee Tesher, the center fielder, comes to the plate. Ballas delivers high for ball 1. Tesher was put out in the bottom of the second, a 6-3 putout. She has Roberts in scoring position here in the bottom of the 4th. Fouls off the second one for strike 1. as the count moves to 1-1 with 2 outs. Velva-Drake-Anamoose again 4-0 on the season. That's going to be inside for ball 2. The Cougars are 2-0. As the two teams sit on top of the Region 4 standings right now. Pitched by Ballas is high for ball 3. So we haven't seen this before today. This is the first 3-ball count that Ballas has faced. As she's behind 3-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. So 2 outs. Count is full to Kaylee Tesher. And Aubrey Roberts stands on second base. Fly ball. Left field, caught by Hudkins for the 3rd out. So again, the Cougars unable to get anybody across. They trail 5-0 as we move to the top of the 5th. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
The Hub in North Dickinson is more than your ordinary convenience store. From Godfather's Pizza and the Hub Cafe to gourmet coffee, tea, and more. Stop by early for breakfast or grab something to go. We carry a variety of donuts that we make fresh every day. If your vehicle is dirty, we now have a state-of-the-art car wash at both locations. Stop in and see what we have to offer at the Hub located on North Highway 22 or the Hub West Dakota Oil on East Villard in Dickinson. We're changing the way people think about the convenience store industry.
Back at Dakota Community Bank and Trust Field on the Sanford Sports Complex. Hart River trailing 5-0 is back in the field as we start the top of the 5th. With second baseman Jenna Lonis stepping to the plate for the Aggies. She singled in her last at bat in the 3rd to right, struck out in the 1st. As Gretchen Silbernagel remains on the mound for the Cougars, she delivers high for ball 1. Swing and a miss for strike 1 by Lonis. So the count moves to 1-1. Silbernagel delivers. Ground ball down the 1st. Easy pickup by Roberts. So that'll be a 3 unassisted for the 1st out. And that'll bring up Quincy Bruner, the shortstop. She doubled to left center field and scored in her last at bat. She reached on an error in her first at bat in the 1st inning, then stole second before also scoring. So she's accounted for 2 of the 5 runs that the Aggies have tallied this afternoon, as that's ball 2 from Gretchen Silbernagel. 1 down. Silbernagel is high again for ball 3. That seems to be her miss so far this afternoon, is that high pitch. So she falls behind 3-0. Gets that one across for the 1st strike to Bruner. So the count moves to 3-1 with 1 down. That one's fouled off by Bruner. So Silbernagel has worked herself to a full count. See what she comes with this time. And that's going to be high for ball 4. So Bruner draws the walk. And that brings up Fallon Hudkins, the left fielder. She lines one down the right field side. It goes over the fence for a long strike. So Bruner now on first after drawing the walk. Hudkins reached on an error. Then was thrown out at second in her last at bat. She singled in the first. Has a ground ball up the middle by Hudkins. Solid single there. And that moves Bruner to second with one down. So once again, the Aggies building another scoring threat here as Marley Kittleson, the center fielder, comes to the plate. She flew out to first base in her last at bat. She sets up to bunt, lays down a beauty, nobody over at first. So that's going to be a bunt single. So bases loaded, as that was a defensive miscue by the Cougars, as no one covered first base on the excellent bunt by Marley Kittleson. And that brings up Tessa Clemens, who pops it up to Wyman for out number 2. So that's an F5. And that brings up Evelyn Selzler, the first baseman. She struck out in her first at bat, or her most recent at bat. Line shot down the right side, goes off the glove of Morris. So that's going to be an error. That's going to score 3 runs as Selzler ends up at third. So 3 runs come across on the air. Making it 8-0. There we go. Scoreboard finally caught up with me. And that brings up Leah Volochenko, the third baseman. As Selzler's over on third base. Silbernagel, easy throw over to first, and that's going to end the inning. But not before the Aggies tally 3 runs and now lead 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back.
Saving money feels impossible when you're young, but Western Cooperative Credit Union is here to help. Our CU Succeed program gives you monthly interest payments, free checking, easy and secure online banking, and a 1% discount on a one-time loan. Plus, earn cash for being on the honor roll with our Good Grades program. Get started today at wccu.org. Western Cooperative Credit Union. Join the herd. Visit us today. Federally insured by NCUA.
So the Heart River Cougars find themselves trailing 8-0 as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. As Jovi Henson, the first baseman, will start things off. Again, Grace Ballas pitching an excellent game for the Aggies, giving up only 2 hits so far. And she looks at her wrist for the signal. And delivers for strike 1. Oh, this is Gieske, excuse me. And that's a ball. So the count is 1-1. pop up to center field. Kittleson is under it for out number 1. So now that brings up Jovi Henson. She struck out in her first at bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Pitch from Ballas is high for ball 1. As Ballas looks in and delivers. That's high for ball 2. 2-0 the count. 1 down. Bottom of the 5th. Cougars trailing 8-0. Ballas is just outside for ball 3. So this is the second time in the last 2 half innings that Ballas has gone to 3 balls on a batter. As she delivers, that's going to be low for ball 4. So Henson draws a walk. We go back to the top of the order with pitcher Gretchen Silbernagel. As Ballas steps on the mound and delivers. Fly ball to left field. Hudkins gets under it for out number 2. So that'll bring up Rayleigh Morris, the right fielder. Wind has settled down a little bit right now, as we have 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Ballas steps back onto the mound and delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Henson remains at first base after drawing the walk. Grace Ballas delivers right at the knees for strike 2. So 0-2 the count with 2 outs. Cougars trailing 8-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Ballas delivers. That's high for ball 1. Rayleigh Morris with a good eye there. Count moves to 1-2. Ballas with a delivery. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So again, the Aggies lead 8-0 as we're 5 complete. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll be back for the start of the top of the 6th inning.
West Dakota Oil and Fitterer Oil Company proudly offers products and services that help fuel our customers' lives with clean burning propane and bulk fuel and convenient on-site delivery with premium farm and road fuels. We provide energy where and when you need it most, with locations throughout Southwest North Dakota. West Dakota Oil and Fitterer Oil Company. Locally owned, locally strong. The products you need with the service you deserve.
Back at the Sanford Sports Complex, Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies lead 8-0 as we move to the top of the 6th inning. And pitcher Grace Ballas will start things off as we are at the top of the order for Velva-Drake-Anamoose. Scored 3 runs in the top of the 5th. Need just 2 more for the 10-run rule. Big swing and drive to left center field off the fence. It's thrown in by Tesher as Ballas wastes no time. Gets all the way over to third base with the triple. So not only does she have some heat in her arm, but she has some speed in her legs, getting all the way over to third. As that line shot popped off the fence. So Emma Ballas at the plate takes strike one. And has Grace in scoring position at third, and right past Annie Silbernagel with the grounder, and that brings in Grace Ballas. Makes it 9-0 with no outs. And Jenna Lonis, the second baseman, comes to the plate with Emma Ballas at first with that solid single. That's popped up behind us and out of play for strike one. So 0-1 the count to Jenna Lonis. And the stolen base by Emma Ballas gets her into scoring position as the pitch to Lonis was called a strike. So 0-2 the count. Lonis now in scoring position at second as Silbernagel delivers. And that's a ground ball past Henson. And that's going to allow Lonis to get all the way over to third as she scores Emma Ballas. And it's now 10-0. Velva-Drake-Anamoose in the top of the sixth inning. No outs. Quincy Bruner, the shortstop, comes to the plate as Lonis is now on third base. First pitch is a ball from Gretchen Silbernagel. So two triples as a grounder over to third is beaten out by Bruner. So infield single. And that brings in Lonis for the 11th run overall. Third run of the inning. And Fallon Hudkins lines one between the legs of Silbernagel. And that advances Bruner to second, as there are still no outs in the top of the sixth. And Marley Kittleson comes to the plate with runners at first and second. Pitches inside for ball one from Gretchen Silbernagel as Bruner steals third base. And Yonner gives some signs to her teammates. As that pitch is low for ball one. So 1-1 the count to Kittleson. Still nobody out. Aggies up 11-0. They've scored 3 runs so far here in the top of the sixth. That pitch is high for ball two. Two and one the count. Runners at second and third. Yet another ball. As Silbernagel delivers again, line shot right between her legs. And that'll bring in 2 more runs as Bruner And Hudkins cross the plate. So Kittleson with a single makes it 13-0. As Tessa Clemens comes to the plate with Kittleson on first base. That's high for ball 2. So the Aggies with 5 runs in the inning so far have built a 13-0 lead in the top of the 6th. Clemens, the catcher, at the plate with a count of 2-1. That's inside. Count moves to 3-1 as Kittleson steals second. So yet again, another runner in scoring position for the Aggies. And that's high for ball 4. Pop up to short to Annie Silbernagle. That's the first out. As Evelyn Salzler now at the plate for the Aggies. She fouls one back for strike 1. Swing and a miss for strike 2. But the pass ball is going to let Kittleson go to third. Line shot in between first and second into right field. Scores Kittleson. And we're going to have a pinch batter here. Number 23. That's going to be Maya Davis. Pinch hitting for Volochenko, who was playing third base. So Maya Davis, pinch hitting, takes ball 1. A little grounder just fouled down the third baseline for strike 1. So 1-1 the count with 1 out. Pop up. Roberts gets, or excuse me, Hansen gets under it for out number 2. So we move back to the top of the order, and Grace Ballas, the pitcher, started off this inning with a triple. Swing and a miss for strike 1. So 2 outs, 0-1 the count. That's high for ball 1 to Grace Ballas. Pitch is on the way. That's also a ball. So the count moves to 2-1 to Grace Ballas, as Gretchen Silbernagel remains on the mound and delivers. That's going to be high for ball 3. Selzler remains at first base. Grounder to the shortstop. Toss over to Roberts. Nice play by Silbernagel and Roberts to end the inning, but not before. The Aggies make it 13-0. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll come back for the bottom of the 6th inning.
Are you ready for summer fun and adventure? Spend an exciting time at Badlands Ministries just south of Medora, where you'll grow in faith and have the time of your life. For over 90 years, Badlands Ministries has provided a safe place for people of all ages and denominations to experience Christ's love. Take a leap of faith and enjoy the many activities, from ropes courses, fun Bible studies, crazy games, hiking, swimming, campfires, songs, skits, and more. Call or go to badlandsministries.org. See you at camp.
It's also the bottom of the 6th. It's the bottom of the 6th inning, not the top of the 7th, right? Okay, got it. There we go. She's got it. All right. Got things straightened out on the scoreboard. It's 14-0. That's what I had in my book, but the scoreboard showed 13, so we went by what the scoreboard said. That new math can really be confusing sometimes. As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning, Annie Silbernagel, the shortstop, comes to the plate as Grace Ballas, with a delivery, draws a pop-up. Coming in, making the nice catch is Kittleson from center field. Great hustle by Kittleson, as the wind held that up for out number 1. So Grace Ballas with an exceptional game on the mound so far today, as that pitch is outside for ball 1. She's allowed just 3 hits overall, and keeping the Cougars scoreless. That one's high for ball 2. Ballas still showing great heat on the mound, as the count moves to 2-0 with 1 out. Aubrey Roberts waits and swings and misses for strike 1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. Cougars trailing 14-0 to the Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies. Grounder over to Lonis. Throw to Selzler for out number 2. So that brings up Taylon Yonner, who popped up to short in her last at bat. Struck out in the 1st inning. Last chance for the Cougars. She sends a solid swing out of play down the 3rd baseline. If she straightens that out a little bit, it'll be trouble. So strike 1 as Ballas looks to the plate and delivers. That's going to be low for ball 1. Again, Taylon Yonner at the plate. 2 outs, count 1-1. Ballas delivers. That's going to be strike 2. So Ballas 1 pitch away from the shutout. As again, she's given up just 3 runs, or 3 hits, excuse me. Another foul out of play down the left field side. So the count remains 1-2 to Taylin Yonner. Ballas with a delivery, swing and a miss for strike 3. So that's going to do it. The Velva-Drake-Anamoose with a very impressive 14-0 victory over the Heart River Cougars. Let's take a 2-minute break and we'll come back for the post-game summary.
You have big dreams for your community. At Rivera, so do we. Giving back more than $1 million locally each year. It's something bigger than time and money. We give heart. Wearing bright yellow and lending a hand. It's not just giving back.
Watch your step.
It's building forward.
Nice and easy.
With local sponsorships and decision-making, the impact is felt everywhere. It's who we are. Rivera. Let's forge ahead together.
Have you ever left home wondering if you locked the front door or closed the garage door? Did you forget to turn out the lights or lower the thermostat? Who's watching and protecting your home when you're away? Consolidated Home Security and Automation can take care of the little things so you don't have to. With 24/7 monitoring backed by local techs and support, Consolidated has you covered. Call 483-4000. Convenience, comfort, and control in one app. Total peace of mind.
Banking is some of the most important things in your life, and banking at the right bank is very important. We're really proud of our bank because we have great people, and our people are what make our bank go. We always want to treat our customers right and do the best job we can for them, and try to do things to help make our communities better.
Need a new car? Well, Dan is your man.
What do you mean I'm your man?
Well, you're the one that came up with the idea of free car washes for life.
That was a great idea. Look, here comes another one.
Da-da-da! Crime fighters to the rescue!
Buy any vehicle from Dan Porter Motors and enjoy free car washes for life.
Gonna need more bubbles.
Wait a second. Who's Bubbles?
Dan Porter Motors, baby approved, grown up guaranteed.
Back at the Sanford Sports Complex on the campus of Dickinson State University, congratulations goes out to the Velva-Drake-Anamoose Aggies, who claim a 14-0 victory over the Heart River Cougars. An excellent pitching performance by Grace Ballas on the mound for Velva-Drake-Anamoose. She only gave up 3 hits to earn the shutout. Meanwhile, the Aggies scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fifth, and then 6 in the top of the sixth, as they collected 13 hits overall. So Velva-Drake-Anamoose now moves to 3-0 in Region 4 and 5-0 overall. Meanwhile, the Heart River Cougars suffer their first loss on the year, moved to 2-1 in Region 4 and 2-1 overall. So again, Velva-Drake-Anamoose, a 14-0 victory over Heart River. On behalf of everybody at Consolidated Channel 18, I'm Alan Reed, along with Trace Wells and Ken and Micah on the cameras, saying thank you so much for joining us, and have a very pleasant tomorrow.